All right. 3 o'clock. So now we can get into the football. We can do this a multitude of ways. You have the Hutch audio we can play for you. I know Ben Johnson's a hot topic. So here's what we're going to do. Only one of us in this room had a team to win in the playoffs this weekend. So Rico's going to pick a direction here at 3, and I'm going to follow his lead. I'm here for all of it. So why don't you, Prince Beard, why don't you tell us where you'd like to go in the 3 o'clock? What do you think the people would like to hear?
You know what, Mike? I think the people would like to hear about the Hutch audio. The audio where he went on ESPN and said that this team, you know, the one thing that basically they need to do to get better next year is just get healthier. Blaming injuries once again instead of all of the other deficiencies that are out there. Look, injuries happen, but every NFL team has injuries. But to sit here and say, well, if we just stay healthy, we'll be back, it's like, Hutch, I'm not asking you to throw everybody under the bus, but how about you just start with yourself? I need to be better. I have to do better things. I got to lead this defense. I have to do this. And there's so much that needs to go on with this team. I can't just pinpoint one thing. But just the whole injury thing, it rubbed me the wrong way. Very similar to after the Pittsburgh game when he came out and said, well, he kind of blamed the refs of why they lost that game. It's like, well, no, the refs didn't give up 45-yard runs. Your defense did. So that bothered me a lot this weekend.
All right, that's what we're going to do then. Rico gets what he wants, like a win in Philly. Spoiled brat. All right, here's the audio of Hutch on NFL Sunday Countdown pregame. My goodness. Okay. People, let me ask you a question. At what point is anyone in that building, outside of Dan Campbell, just going to own it? Like, seriously. The front seven was healthy, and they started getting gutted down the stretch on the ground. What's the secondary have to do with that? Now, if you want to say Brian Branch plays a role in that, I'm fine with that. But that doesn't allow for 230 yards against Pittsburgh Steelers.
Who can't rush the ball that well.
It doesn't allow for an average of 6 yards a carry. 15 of 29 carries against the Rams, over 6 yards. Like, I just, why is it the team's highest paid non-quarterback has blamed officiating and injuries? Here's an idea. We weren't good enough. I point to one thing. We lacked focus. We lacked execution. We lacked an edge that we had a couple of years ago, and it's my job to help us get it back. That's what a leader does. Not that stuff while being dressed like a Dick Tracy character.
A lot of different patterns in that jacket and shirt.
I'm tired of it. I'll be honest. They shouldn't be allowed to have the word grit anywhere in the facility. They weren't the tougher team all year. They didn't play harder than their opponents. And the injuries, if this weekend showed you anything, the fact that the Chargers made the playoffs with 4 offensive linemen that rank in the bottom 2 at their position in all of football. They lost a Pro Bowl left tackle. They lost a Pro Bowl right tackle. They have the worst right tackle in football, the second worst right guard, the worst center. They made the playoffs, right? The Niners, I don't even have to tell you the injuries. The entire team, not named Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey, is all dead. They're with the China from the Titanic at the bottom of the ocean. They made the playoffs and won a game. If you want to talk about grit and toughness, I got to be honest with you. Blaming officials and blaming injuries, hey, you love him because he went there. Good, because he displays the behavior. Entitled.
Yeah.
Soft. Hutch is a guy that defensively you set the standard. That's my side of the ball. I wasn't good enough. We weren't good enough. I'm not going to point to one thing. Comprehensively, we didn't live up to the standard that this organization has set. Say that.
You know what? It's funny because I think the grit and toughness have gone out of the window because what's missing is the hunger. The hunger this team used to have. The hunger this team, they really wanted the title. And it was like, ever since a couple years ago of making it to the NFC title game, it just became, okay, we're now one of the accepted teams. and they almost treated themselves like they won the Super Bowl that year. It's like, guys, you didn't go.
Hey, were they healthy last year?
No.
No, they went 15-2, right?
Yeah.
What about the injuries? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Injuries will prevent you from winning a Super Bowl. I do not accept that as long as your quarterback is healthy, no injuries justify fully in totality or as the biggest reason why you miss the playoffs. You played the Vikings twice and lost to Pete Brosmer and J.J. McPick-6.
So for anybody who's like, well, we had that first place schedule.
Oh,
guys.
shut up. You played the state of Ohio.
Right.
Shut up.
Right.
Shut up.
But no, I think the hunger is gone. I think that's that drive. That's what used to make this team is like, man, they were so driven and so focused, and they've kind of gone Hollywood, where now it's all about them and their brand and their image and doing things and the dances and choreographed stuff. It's like, guys, or we could just go out there and just win some football games. And that's, to me, that's why you don't see that same toughness.
Yeah, no, because I think Aiden is still living in 2023. Just like Jared Goff is, just like this team did all year. Yeah. That's my biggest concern, to me.
No, I'm with you. They thought that we went 15-2, so we'll just run through the NFC North again, and everybody's going to be afraid of us, and it's no big deal, and we're going to just keep winning these games. And the rest of the league kind of caught up to you and said, yeah, we figured this out.
Well, that's the other side of it. I mean, right here, right now, like that's the other funny part. I don't want to muddy the water, but I do think this is relevant. Is we're going to talk about Ben Johnson and the Bears, and it's like the level of copium from Lions fans dismissing the Bears. Oops, they just won again. And by the way, like I know, oh well, Caleb's a weirdo. Yeah, you know what? And he's one of 3 guys who could have made that throw on 4th down. If he has any level of development this offseason, just a modicum, he's going to be a top 5 quarterback next year. You know who's not? Your guy. The Bears are going to be your nightmare for a while. And they're one edge rusher away from that defense looking totally different. So I just, again, you can live with copium. And then, oh, by the way, the butthurt about Ben Johnson, I think it all plays into the psychology of Lion fan. And when you hear it from the players, it's such a weird thing. Like, they wanted to, wag their you-know-what in Ben's face week 18. All right, yeah, you really showed him. You're out of the playoffs. He's in.
And not only that, he won a game, beat a team you couldn't beat, and he's going to the divisional round at home.
Maybe you're just mad that Ben Johnson is what Dan Campbell was. Maybe that's what part of this is. Oh, my God, he said F the Packers. You mean like you did wearing those T-shirts?
Middle fingers, yeah.
Like, what are we talking about?
You did the same thing.
Guy has an edge.
He's got the hunger. Chicago's hungry right now because they haven't had anything. Mike, think about it. Detroit used to be that team because all they did was lose. Sounds familiar? That's Chicago. Now, all of a sudden, coach comes in here, says, guys, we don't have to be this way anymore. Team starts buying in. They're still hungry. This team, full. They're at the buffet.
I don't know. I wonder what you guys think. It felt off. And then by the middle of the year, I started talking about the delusion stuff, and we started reading into the comments more. They started making more comments. And you go, okay, they've lost their way. I agree with Rico in this regard. You can call it going Hollywood. And TJ's even come in here as a former player, as someone on the broadcast, and said they didn't outplay their opponents. They didn't out-tough them. They didn't out-effort them. They lost their way. I do not want to hear about effing injuries anymore. No. If you lose your quarterback.
That's the injury that you
not San Francisco, of course, but for the rest of us mortals, if you lost Jared Goff, if you lost Goff for 6 games this year, I'd absolutely tell you it cost you a playoff spot.
Yeah.
But you can't miss the playoffs and talk injuries. You could say the injuries limited what we could do in the playoffs, like last year. But you cannot. Your front 7 was healthy towards the end of the year, and they were terrible. It's not injuries.
No, but then again, the injuries, Mike, that's also goes back to the lack of drafting and bringing in depth, because you didn't have the people who could step up when these guys go down and you bring up the next guy.
I just think there's a little bit, I don't know if you want to call it arrogance. I don't know if you want to call it delusion. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. It's like when Kobe, after game 1 of the NBA Finals in 04, we're just measuring them up.
Yeah.
Nah, Kobe, we got a problem here now.
But no, I think a lot of it comes from the top down. When Brad Holmes came out there and said, we're still close. It's like, actually, you're not. You're not close. You're a long way from close. You're about 8 or 9 players away. That's not close. Close is 1 or 2. Close is we get this edge. Close is we get this linebacker. Close is we need a left tackle. That's close. You pretty much need a retooling. Not a rebuild, but you need a seriously retooling.
I would be at 5 or 6. I don't know the status of Kirby Joseph. Neither does TJ when he was here Friday. Branch is just not going to be the same player year 1 after an Achilles. I'm sorry. And that's
Taylor Decker.
I think he retires.
Center.
Glasgow, I think he retires.
Guard.
You need an upgrade there. Those are the 5. I hear you. No, and I'm we're good.
Okay.
No, I'm with you.
Tackle. So
that one, I believe is
right.
a need. Yes.
We've now hit 6, 7.
You can't say that. That's what the kids do.
Anzalone.
Don't do that.
Oh.
Yeah, see? Now Kenny's doing it. Don't
Anzalone.
You
need another linebacker. We're at 8.
Or you don't stay in base defense all the time. That might help.
But, do the defense that you did against the Bears.
Well, you mean where they waited until the season was over to use exclusive zone when they couldn't go man-to-man?
Because they had to beat Ben.
Got it.